another part in shifting the collective consciousness, part 2 today. And last month, I talked about how important it is to keep your awareness, your consciousness, on what you want, on what you like, rather than on what you don't want or don't like. And you can use the awareness of what you don't like to get really clear on what do I want instead of this, and then put your attention on that. So there is great value in that. You just don't want to put your attention on that, what you don't want, very long, because then you start creating it. And I also talked about there being a lot of information on social media and in the news about the 2020 election. And since then, we've had the first Democratic debate. And, you know, everyone wants our vote there. There's a lot more candidates in that field than we've ever seen before in my lifetime, or any that I know of in history. And they all want our votes. And I talked about we vote every day, not just on election days. We vote every day through what we put our attention on. Putting our attention casts a vote for whatever that attention is on. So if we repeatedly put our attention on what we don't want, what we don't like, through complaining, through telling the ain't it awful stories, through criticizing, blaming, things like that, then we are unconsciously, if we were conscious of it, we wouldn't do it, and we forget, you know, but unconsciously creating a vibration that then attracts what we don't want to us. So then I ended last month with saying your task for the next month, should you choose to accept it, is to be aware of where you're placing your attention. Be aware of what your consciousness is doing. Be aware of your choices, and then ask yourself, are my choices, are my votes adding to the raising of my consciousness and thus the consciousness of my country, my world? Or are my votes, my attention on pollution and lower vibration in myself and thus affecting the world? And I'm not going to put anybody on the spot today to ask if anyone chose to take that assignment. You know if you did or didn't. And Abraham Hicks worded it a little different way years ago when I heard them say, with every choice we make, with every word we speak, with every thought we think, we're either adding to the chain of pain or adding to the chain of joy. And they recommend that we often ask ourselves, am I adding to that chain of pain, or I'm adding to the chain of joy? And you know what your answer is going to be that you want to do. So that's a good little thing to keep you in integrity. But let's pick up the sequel to last month's talk with the idea that we are voting every day, like I just said. And that's by putting our attention on things. We've got the power of choice and the freedom to choose where we put that attention. It's just that a lot of it is habit, unconscious. So it's about our consciously becoming conscious, choosing to become conscious, pay more attention. One of the ancient teachings of Ho'oponopono practice, Hawaii, is energy flows where attention goes, meaning whatever you put your attention on, that's where you're putting your energy. So, do you want to add energy, add fuel to what you don't want? I think not. I don't. But whatever you're putting your attention on, you're adding energy and fuel to. So be aware of that. What are you giving your energy to? What are you putting your attention on? Anybody read Eckhart Tolle's book, A New Earth? Yeah. In it, he says that transcending our ego-based state of consciousness is not only essential to our personal happiness, it is essential to ending conflict and suffering in our world. Something I think we're all interested in doing now, aren't we? Yeah. He describes how our attachment to the ego creates the dysfunction that leads to anger, jealousy, hatred, unhappiness. and shows us how to awaken to a new state of consciousness and follow the path to a truly fulfilling existence. The book's really a guide to a better way of life for the reader and how to build a better world. Many people are now referring to the new earth that is being created through our Earth's ascension process and through the ascension of all of Earth's inhabitants, which we're all doing right now and been doing for a while. So many people are becoming increasingly more conscious, more aware, remembering more and more who they truly are, expression of God. These people are becoming more loving, more compassionate, more understanding. They want to make a positive difference in the world. And they want that positive difference to be for the good of all. For the good of all. And if you're here today listening to me, I would pretty much guarantee you that you're one of those people. And we need to be aware that the new earth is only available on the other side of that love, of that compassion, of that kindness, and all like energies. And we can't, as much as some of us try to do it sometimes, we can't drag another person into that world if they're not prepared to live in it and will not stay in it. We can only put ourselves there. And through putting ourselves there, then we're like an attractive magnet that makes them say, I'll have what she's having. So, shine your light on what you love. Use your attention to vote for what you want. Choose to infuse love and kindness into everything you say and everything you do, into all your interactions with people, with other living creatures, with organizations, with programs, with nature. Infuse love and compassion into everything you do, including what you drink and put into your body, what you ingest. That's what you can do. That's what you can do to have a positive impact on this planet and shift the collective consciousness. Shifting yours first. Each one of us has an impact on someone or something every moment of every day. We have an impact. So what kind of an impact are we having? Is it negative? Is it positive? We always have an impact on somebody, something. And if you feel helpless, which, we get there sometimes with all the stuff that's going on, but if you feel helpless, the less positive impact you're able to have. You're in that lower vibration state, so just be aware, because you can always have that positive impact. When you feel helpless over your environment, you are not choosing to positively impact what you can positively impact in that moment. And that helplessness feeling too shall pass too, particularly when you become aware of it and realizing, wait, I could have a different impact here. But whatever you're doing, any interaction you have with all those things I mentioned before, with humans, with other living beings, with nature of any kind, with whatever, you will soon see, when you infuse those with love and compassion, that you will start attracting those same kind of people back to you. The ones that aren't like that or aren't ready to hear it will kind of fade away from your life. And you'll be attracting more and more of like vibration. Because you're going to be aligned more and more with Source, with God. And because of that vibration, as I said, you'll find some people fading away or more people like you coming. Just because of your vibration. It could mean changes for you. It could mean you might move somewhere else. It might could mean things around you where you are will start changing. There'll be shifts in you. You might start dressing differently. You might change your hairstyle. You know, you'll notice some changes. And one good way to make a positive impact is start embracing the changes. Embracing the changes around you and within you. Sometimes our first reaction is to, I don't want that. Or to judge by appearance and say, no, I really don't want that, I know. But no, embrace the changes. And if you don't feel like it's good, just say, thank you, God, for showing me the good in this. I know it's all you. You're the only presence here. You're the only presence in this. Because you do make a difference. You do have an impact, every one of us, whether you believe it or not. And it has to start with the world that exists within you if you want to have a positive impact on the world out here. It starts within you. Like, tend to your garden first, put your oxygen mask on first. Then the rest actually takes care of itself. Takes care of itself. I love it. And you'll start seeing that your inner world starts showing up in the world around you, not just in people, but in other ways. In, the things that you want will start showing up. And you'll find yourself collaborating and connecting and coming together with like-minded souls, both in physical and non-physical, actually. To be your team, to work with you in doing great things in your home, in your community, in your state, in the world. However far you want to take it. And every bit of it makes a difference. You don't have to affect whatever you do with another person affects the whole world, actually, but you don't have to have these big things like you're going to run for president or things like that, because you still make a big change. But you can't create a big gap between where you are right now and what you want to do or what kind of a positive impact you want to make in the world and start feeling helpless. Put yourself in a victim mode and start saying, I can't do this. How am I going to do this? Remember, how to is not your job, it's God's job. Because then you put yourself back into that suffering vibration, and what do you get then? More suffering, don't you? Yeah. Not fun, not fun. I stay there in very short periods of time nowadays. It's not that I won't say that I don't have some suffering, but I'll stay there long. I'll stay there long, and I start looking for the blessing, the good in it, because it always shows up. Opposite is almost true. Is also true, not almost true. The opposite is also true. When you start raising your consciousness, you start aligning more with Source, then that's what you attract to you. We all know that. That's what we attract to us. And when we start attracting our team to us and collaborate and cooperate and co-create, that's one of the ways we can have the biggest impact on the world. Don't need to be the Lone Ranger in any of this. The only Lone Ranger part is to know what's within you to start uplifting and raising. And what if I told you more good is happening in the world now than ever before? And more what we would call destruction and possibly bad is happening now than seemingly ever before. But when that happens, more and more people come together to do good. And we see it. We're seeing it. There's a lot that we don't see that's going to come to light. More of the negative seems to be in the media. There's a lot of good out there happening now. And that's part of polarity. You know, there's going to be less and less right and wrong kind of things, bad and good kind of things, separation of the poles. People are going to, that gap is going to start closing, get smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually it disappears into oneness. Into oneness. That's our goal. So how does this relate to the new earth and the fifth dimension? If we're operating still so much in the third dimension of the opposite poles. It's that gap is going to close more and more and more and more, and we'll move into that oneness. And the key is consciousness, awareness. Consciousness is love. All there is love, right? So simple, so simple. Once we really get it, that's all we need to do is love. Love ourselves, love everything else. Love, as Matt Kahn says, love whatever arises. So you can vote with your love, and you can live so consciously aware of your choices each day that you can choose to focus on what you want. Anytime you catch yourself on what you don't want, oh yeah, what do I want instead of that? Make the choice, vote for what you want instead. The more you do it, easier it gets. Practice, practice, practice. Practice in every day. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Until one day, it becomes a natural, free-flowing part of you. Natural, free-flowing, you don't even think about it. That's just who you are. And more people are waking up to who they truly are. Consider what Marianne Williamson said in her book, A Return to Love. That book had a big impact on me. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I want to say those last two sentences again. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, we automatically, our presence automatically liberates others. So look at the words unconsciously and automatically. It kind of says what I just said there. Because when we get to that point where we let our light shine, where we conquer our fears, I don't even like to use the word conquer, where we realize our fears are just illusions, they dissipate, then we don't have to think about helping other people to shine their light. We don't have to help other people get rid of their fears. It just happens because they're in our presence. Just in our presence and things like that happen. Our vibration affects them. So I'm going to take a little detour here to ask, how many of you are pretty familiar with Marianne Williamson? Yeah, read her book. I didn't realize how many books she's got. I Googled and there are so many. But let me ask another question. How many of you watched the debate? Yeah, with her in it. Yes. Well, she was over there on the far left of the stage over there. And I think it was 30 minutes into it before they even asked her a question. I believe they only asked her one question. She did get she put herself out there to say things at other times, but she was only asked one question. And it said that her total airtime was 5 minutes, which I thought was very interesting. And so how did she end up the night's most Googled name? And how did she light up Twitter as the topic that most people were talking about? That's interesting too, isn't it? Many people who are likely were seeing her for the first time, because I don't think a majority of our country has really heard of her. I mean, they were charmed by her in some ways. They were baffled by her. They thought maybe she was not well prepared and certainly foolish. And talk show host had a ball with her, as they said, New Age beliefs on display, and that gave them a lot of joke material. But her communications director said that she wasn't really bothered by the jokes, and that when they go out on the campaign trail, that quite often people will have the reaction, Marianne who? And then after hearing her, they'll have the words Marianne wow, which I thought was pretty cool. But, and then her closing statement was, Mr. President, if you're listening, I want you to hear me, please. You have harnessed fear for political purposes, and only love can cast that out. So sir, I have a feeling you know what you're doing. I'm going to harness love for political purposes. I will meet you on that field, sir. And, sir, love will win. Interesting, bold statement. I admire her courage for letting her light shine. And, I mean, some of us, remember the times when we couldn't even talk about our beliefs with our family and maybe still can't? And here she puts herself out on the national stage to do it. And a lot of people think it's pretty funny, pretty foolish, pretty silly. And who knows what's going to happen? I mean, we didn't think Trump was going to be president, did we? He didn't think he was going to be president, I hear. But whether she becomes president or not, she's going to have an impact on a lot of people. And I admire her courage in doing that. And I'm looking forward to reading her newest book, which I didn't even know about, Politics of Love, a handbook for a new American revolution. I think that's going to be interesting. And many people are not yet ready to consider harnessing love for political purposes as a credible idea. And it may be a while before they are, or not. Shift is happening quicker and quicker nowadays. Shift is happening. So after that little detour to the debate, let's look at the word heal. Heal. When you are one that wants to heal everything around you, it's because you really want to heal what's within you. You, me, whoever. But know what will heal the world and everything around you the quickest, the most effectively, the most efficiently, and the most sustainable way is for you to heal the hurt, the suffering, the pain, the destruction, the disharmony in you. And sometimes just simply because we don't want to face that pain, those memories, whatever, we say, oh, well, let me go help them. Let me go fix them. I think it's been interesting lately. I'm having a 2-week house and pet sitting job in an old neighborhood where some of my kids grew up, and it has some really, and I've been walking all around the neighborhood. I walked around the house I used to live in when I was married, and it's got some really bittersweet memories, some good memories, and then some that I really didn't want to revisit, you know? And I thought, well, what a wonderful opportunity now to see that they're nothing but air, memories, and my judgments of those memories anyway, and they can't hurt me unless I give the permission to. And so it's just been very interesting to look at all of that past in a different way and know that poof, you know, poof, it's only there if I want to remember it the way it was when I thought it was hurtful, you know. So healing whatever's within us. And also, you know, we want to heal the pollution. We've got to heal the pollution in us. And I've been guided to go to this chiropractor who's doing a nutrition program for me specifically to clean out my pollution and toxins. And I've been on that program a month, and I'm feeling so much better. And it's going to be for a year, really, because it took a lot of time to get all that stuff in my body. So we also heal the pollution of the planet by healing what's within us. It's the journey to the awakening back to pure love, pure energy, pure light, source, oneness. And every moment we're free to choose again. Did any of you read the book that a lot of Unity churches have classes on, the Quest? Yeah, and I always love what it says in there. We're always at possibility junction. We're always free to choose again. So it doesn't matter what you think were bad choices or wrong choices in the past. Doesn't matter. They weren't. They were all leading you to where you're supposed to be. But you can just choose again. Say, oh, okay, well, I've changed my mind. Let me choose again. Let me focus on something different. So, what do we want to focus our attention on?
That which makes us happy.
That which makes us happy, that which
Brings us joy.
brings us joy, that which...
Hey, y'all.
I forgot to tell you this is audience participation.
Serves the good for all.
Serves the good for all,
Lifts us up.
lifts us up,
Creates life.
creates light, yeah,
Creates love.
creates love. Anything in the higher
Brings us,
vibration.
oneness.
Oneness, yeah,
Serenity.
yes. And you're all speaking of things that you want, right? So we're focusing, you focus on things that you want. And really, we're so much more alike than we are different. So we really all want the same basic things. So that's what we're going to focus our attention on. And be mindful of that, mindful of that. But like I said before, you're surrounded right now as you sit in that seat right there with a perfect team in physical and non-physical to assist you, for you to collaborate with, to cooperate with, to come together with, to make a positive difference in the world. It can be a team of two, it can be a team of many. I feel that's what I've been attracted to when I'm doing my volunteer work with the teens. I was attracted to that, and I could see how God arranged everything for me to get there, you know, from when for a couple of years I thought, well, I don't really have time for that, it's too far away, and so God moved me closer to it and created the time to do it, and now I can't not do it because I know what a positive impact it's making on each of those kids' lives, and it's just a ripple effect. It's a ripple effect that keeps on going and going and going to co-create the new earth. The new earth. So stand up straight, shoulders back, head held high, and feel that power within you to make a positive impact wherever you are. Wherever you are. And as you continue to raise your consciousness, raise your vibration, you'll soon see that all has been happening all along in divine order for you, not against you, for you, to lead you on this path to creating, co-creating this new earth. And it's just going to keep getting better and better and better. And when I was writing that, I remember Abraham saying, the better it gets, the better it gets. But I was thinking, this last couple of weeks, so many things have happened in my life that did not look better and better and better. But how I noticed it was better and better and better is how much better I deal with it, react to it, respond to it, because the reaction is like the knee-jerk reaction, we have that. But then I have my conscious response that I'm going to have to it. And it's so much better than